G'day fellas and welcome to a casted game of Age of Mythology. Today we take a look at good old friend Gullimbursty. Yes, he's going to be back today, I'm confident of it. Ladies and gentlemen, spawning in on the west side of the map in the colour blue, playing as FREYR. We've got Wiz. I don't know if this guy's any relation to the rapper, but I'm going to assume that probably not. Either that or he could be from the Harry Potter universe. And over on the east side of the map in the color red, playing as Zeus. Representing Team 3D, we've got B. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Giza. Neither faction, neither Civ, neither Pantheon has the advantage today. We're on the Egyptian hometown, the Egyptian homeland. So no one's picking up any natural bonuses here. Well, I say natural bonuses. There's no real natural bonuses if you're watching and you're brand new. All the maps are just fair for everybody. Well, they're fair for some civs and not so fair for others. You know, as an example, water maps particularly favor some civs over others. So each map has its natural advantage and natural disadvantages, but we start to see a very early berserk coming out for Wiz over towards the enemy's space. A little bit curious. Doesn't need to do this just yet. Maybe just looking to try and scout out exactly what the enemy's up to. We do see that, has he placed down a house just yet? I don't actually see that house placed down, and according to this UI, he's yet to do it, so he's going to have to think about that one quite early on as well. Now, let's make sure that is indeed big. We'll go for a little bit of a relic review. It's been a while. It's been some time. We've got, starting us out here, we've got the blanket of Empress Zoe. Buildings are more resistant to siege weapons. Look, siege weapons obviously going to come along eventually, and you've always got buildings, so it's definitely going to have some relevance, but it's a little bit niche. I'd probably say like a C tier. It's not the worst. Meanwhile, in the middle, to the top side, we've got the Osberg wagon. Caravans are cheaper and move faster, so 10% speed and 25% food cost reduction. This is pretty good. I like this a lot, but you got to think about how many games are actually getting to that stage where you're moving into trade, where you're setting it up. Once you're actually there, it's great. It's great to have the extra speed because that means you're getting more gold because your caravans are going faster, so they're doing their returns quicker. And obviously, it's cheaper to get into. I'd be curious to see whether players might even pick this relic up and then just go into trade a little bit earlier, if it permits it, right? Like if we look at the town center locations on a map like this, not the best town centers for trade. Ideally, we want them as close to the edge of the map as we possibly can. Obviously, there's you know, beggars can't be choosers, that sort of thing. Yeah, it's one of the things to consider. Towards the top side, we've got the Blue Crystal Shard. This is an S tier one, 5% villager gather rate for mine and tree. And over on the east side, we have also got the Ankh of Ra. Provides a small trickle of favor. I feel like this is probably like an A tier, maybe a B tier. It depends how early you pick it up. And I mean, at the end of the day, it's still pretty decent. Might not seem like a lot, but it's not bad. All right, temples coming down. We've got Wiz coming up. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, 3DP's already aged up. That's how quick he is. I completely missed him. I didn't even see that age up coming through. Looks like he's gone through with the Centaur, so he's going to have that ceasefire ready to go in the back pocket. We're right on board with him. Jeez Louise, that was a very quick age up here. Coming in before, what was it, about the 310 mark? Somewhere around there. Now, I will also say, I've been sick for like the last 2 weeks. I'm still sick right now, so if you hear any little like quiet parts, that's just me muting the mic so I can clear my throat because it still hurts in there. And I probably shouldn't be drinking Red Bull, but I said, you know what? It's 11 o'clock at night. I'm in the mood to cast. I'm feeling it. Let's get into it, and we're gonna need something to power us through the evening because I reckon we're probably gonna get a couple of them in here. So that's the story. That's the way that we're doing it. So interesting opening coming through here from B. So taking a look at his resources at the moment, if we have a look at the balance, huge amount of vills here that are worshipping at the temple, looking to bring that favor in. Obviously only the 3 vills at the moment on wood. He's starting to pick up the relics. We do see he's going to bring back the Ankh of Ra. Second Centaur, now going to be out on the map. Third one probably going to be in queue shortly. There it is. So opening us up with a triple Centaur. Yet to find any real success here. Just looking to try and keep his opponent in the base. Of course, this map is Giza. So we are seeing a little bit of a tightness of resources. I love the way that we can see all of the rings of protective forest around the edge as the age up is now going to come through here on the other side. So looks like Hersey is going to be moving out to defend as well as the Draugr. coming out as well. And Wiz doing the right thing. You can see that Wiz hasn't moved out onto any forms of resources outside of his base. He's going for the berries close at home. He's got the gold and obviously is looking to try and take advantage of as many straggler trees as he possibly can. Keeps everything close to home, wants to avoid losing vills, and we do also see upgrades coming through. Sentry Tower is going to be going up to Watchtower, so we'll have a little bit of a bonus there. Keep in mind that he does have the reduced cost of technologies. It does take a little bit longer for them to come through, though, so you can see medium infantry there coming through. It's half the price, but it does take a bit longer. How much longer does it actually take? I think, is it double? I don't want to say double. Maybe it's like 50% longer? 50% longer, but it costs 50% less, something like that. No, maybe it is double. I'd have to double check the numbers. You know what? Do we just go into the tech tree right now, just to have a look? Technologies cost 50% less, but take 150% longer to research. So it's double and a half. So if it takes 10 seconds normally, it's going to take you 25 seconds. So if we have a look at this tech that's 50 seconds, then that would normally mean it's 20 seconds, right? Because 20, then double it, 40, then give it a half, 50. Looks like we've got the Asgardian Hill Fort going to be coming down here. Percy's going to be moving out. Keep in mind that it does take 195 seconds, but then you get the Hersies working their magic, and all of a sudden it is coming up very, very quickly. So something that you do need to respect if you're on the opposing side of this. Speaking of opposing side, let's go check in with B and see how he's doing, as he's got the triple Centaur on the back. I remember the first time I ever saw somebody do this, I was very impressed with their Centaur mobility. And have a look at this, sniping away all of the relics. That's going to be 1, 2. I think he's already got the other 2 in the bag. Let's have a look. Yeah, he does indeed. So managing to pick up all of the relics, not the best ones, with the exception of that, the wood and gold gather rate. Yeah, there we go. So 5%. It might not seem like a lot, but you got to remember over the course of the game, that is going to add up to a huge amount. So very, very nice. Scout going to be spotting out that Asgardian Hill Fort as well. Now, the question is, what's the follow-up going to be here for B? Because he's opened up strong. He's come out of the box, out of the gates with 3 big, bad Centaurs. He's obviously got his heroes online. We see both of them back at the base. We just saw them bringing in the relics. So where does he go from here? Does he look to take a second town center? Does he look to play into a heroic age potentially? These are options for him, but it looks like at this stage of the game, it's just going to be adding in cavalry. So going with a little bit of, if I had to call it anything, I would say it's a bit of like a Poseidon comp. This is something that we see Poseidon do all the time, where he moves into Centaurs and then looks to try and, you know, work it in with a little bit of Hippias as well. Really keep that cavalry comp running around. It reminds me a lot of the Lakota or the Sioux from Age of Empires 3, because you had the bow riders, which were the ranged cavalry units, and then you had the axe riders, and you just run around the whole map with, you know, cavalry, and the entire game, all you'd make would be cavalry. You'd maybe get a couple of Wakinas in there, a couple Setons, but that would be about it. And Centaur's now going to get a decent little arrow attack off. You can see them, all of the raining arrows coming down, missing absolutely everything. So beautiful micro there by Wiz, forcing back those Centaurs. 4th Centaur is also out on the field here. Percy is going to be able to chase them away. Got to be careful here, though. Don't want to take any extra damage from them. Vill's also getting caught potentially in the crossfire as they manage to escape up towards that north side. Centaurs continue to throw down those unique attacks. Meanwhile, towards the middle, Jason's out here. Jason, what are you doing, mate? Long time no see. Hercules is around here as well, I'm sure. Did Hercules go down in that last fight? I think he did. Indeed. Heracles. I'm just gonna. I think Heracles is the Greek name for Hercules. I can't remember. All I know is that Hercules and Heracles, it's the same dude. So we're just gonna go with Hercules. Interesting decision coming out from Wiz as well, looking to take a second town center, but it's not going to be any second town center. It's going to be right in the middle of the map. Now he is somewhat playing connect the dots here with the Asgardian Hill Fort. And just making sure that he's got that coverage coming through. And remember, if this town center does get up, Gulumbursty will become a real threat here for B on the front line, because Gulumbursty, he does get quite slow the further away you get from the town center. But if he is on the front line, looking to try and soak up the damage on the backside, the Centaurs have now got their upgrade. You can see their Centaur pole archers now coming in. So these guys are going to have a little bit more range, a little bit more damage, if I remember correctly. We can double check their upgrades a little bit later. Have a look at this. Town center almost up. Centaurs still getting caught out. We're going to switch the visibility into the full reveal. Hercules slowly beaten away with his big club. Look at the size of that thing. But fortunately, we got the Huskarls here. Medium Huskarls, by the way. These guys are fully upgraded. Well, not fully upgraded. They're upgraded for where we're currently at. And it looks like the town center will get up. I don't think you use Golem Bursty here. It's a waste to go into the Golem Bursty here. You got enough to defend. You're not too fussed. You could always look to get him out and then go on the aggressive, but even then, it's not worth it. It's better saving it. I think realistically, what you could do is just look to go Heroic Age, and if your opponent does try and all-in you, you could just Golem Bursty to save, especially once you get Heroic, because he's going to be even stronger. Don't tell me it's happening. Don't tell me it's happening. Let me have a look at these resources. It looks like it could be close. It is going to be straight into the Heroic Age, so looking to go up with A-Gear. No real surprise there, obviously unique to FREYR, the brand new civilization. Huskarl's getting caught out of position here underneath the town center, unable to find too much of a connection. And it looks like all of the Centaurs going to stay alive. So at this stage of the game, if you had to give an advantage to anybody, you would definitely say the advantage is currently in the court of Wiz. Wiz has managed to take a second town center. He's managed to get up, or at least go up to the Heroic Age. He's click up, that's the correct term. He's managed to click up to the Heroic Age. And hasn't really lost too much in the way of tempo. On top of that, with the second town center, he's going to be just absolutely pumping vills. So when I think about B's perspective, like, what have you got going on on the side of B that really excites me? And the answer is, well, nothing really. Maybe this Centaur mass is looking juicy, but I just don't see how it's ever going to be, how you're ever going to deal with the forces, the mighty forces of FREYR. Huskarls now making their way forward. Keep in mind, we do have these Hearses on the bottom side. All the upgrades coming through right now for FREYR, just because of the cheapness of them, even though they do take a bit longer. The fact that they're cheap just means, hey, you know what? I'm happy to buy in. And of course, they're going to reduce the cost of that unique technology. We'll talk a little bit about that later in the game as the micro continues. Centaurs need to make sure they're playing the game, and there it is! A huge god power coming through. That's going to be the one that we've got at the top here, Tempest. But we see the freeze. He actually manages to freeze out a couple of those Centaurs. One of them also going to get chased down by the Hearses and Huskarls underneath the town centers. Only 3 survive. So now... Oh, second. Oh, get out of here. That's not a zebra. That is an Asgardian hill fort, ladies and gentlemen. Looks like my FPS is not too laggy here. I remember earlier when I was looking watching a game, my FPS was lagging like crazy when the Tempest went down. It actually went to 50% of the game speed. And I think I had 50% of the frames. So at this stage of the game, Wiz is in an absolutely amazing position here. So he's up 5k score. He's got the second town center. He's now got the rock giant out. He's going to start consuming the enemy buildings, eating them alive. And at this stage of the game, 3DB is just thinking to himself, how am I going to afford to get up and defend at the same time? There ain't no way. There ain't no way it's happening. Meanwhile, the bolt. The bolt. The bolt from Zeus comes out, takes out the rock giant. I love that he held it for so long. You know, it would have been really tempting to say, okay, the Draugr, that's it, it's gone. But actually bided his time, waited for it, hits the mountain giant, I think it's a mountain giant, rock giant, with that. But have a look at this, Huskarl's moving towards the north side. Going to be able to find villagers out on the food up towards this top side. Hippias going to be able to bolster this front line, protect the range units on the back. Meanwhile, more melee units making their way through. You can see he's got plenty of units in queue just sitting here waiting to go, but he's population blocked, so he can't actually keep training units. Meanwhile, Hippias towards the top side, able to chase away those Huskarls. He's going to be so careful with the Centaurs. Beautiful movement speed on them, though. 6.1. Huskarls doing their best. He's going to fire off the arrows towards the top. He could look to try and walk his enemy through it. You can see the amount of DPS that's getting done there. Okay, hold your horses. Maybe it's not all over Red Rover just yet. Sure, he's got a second TC. Sure, he's in the third age. Sure, he's got 2 Asgardian hill forts and a Golem Bursty. Gosh, don't dare talk about the Golem Bursty. Well, don't dare forget about talking about the Golem Bursty. Those things are menaces. But continuing to move back, kiting away. Villagers left pretty much unassaulted for the moment. Hippias numbers starting to improve here. Interesting to note, no gold in the bank, no age up on the way. He is still stuck. He is still playing it out in the classical age. Hippias numbers continue to build, though. Have a look at this. We are talking a serious amount of Hippias that are coming out here. Give me money, he is playing Zeus. He is not playing Poseidon. So it's not like he's really that incentivized to go into it, but he's also got on the back foot if he needs it, the ceasefire. That's another opportunity for him to buy himself a little bit of space. Look at these numbers, and just when we were talking about, well, it looks a little bit stronger for Wiz, 3DB says, hey, don't count me out just yet, Big Drong. Meanwhile, looks like we've re-established ourselves on gold. Have we got a farm transition happening yet? Doesn't look like it. Still plenty of goats under the town center. Still a little bit of food towards that top side. Couple of hyenas out here. Couple more. Triple hyena? That one just That's you're not a real hyena. Oh, I see what you're doing. It's a ghost hyena. Yes, these are fabled in Greek Egyptian mythology, because we're in Giza. And what do I hear? I hear another Asgardian hill fort getting placed down. So he's actually picked up a unique technology that's reduced the cost of the Asgardian hill fort. So the base cost to recast it is 100 favor, and he's utilized a special technology only available to FREYR that allows it. He's going mythic. He's going mythical age. He's going mythical age, and his opponent is only in the classical age. Now, granted, he's got a huge army in the classical age. This is gonna be terrible. I mean, it's either gonna be terrible or it's gonna be incredible. It's gonna be one of the two. Who says it can't be both? That's a great point. Sorry, I should make sure I clarify that. You can look at the hippiest numbers. Look at him. He's trying to get to that town center. Not able to get there in time. Villagers unfortunately make it there. Only loses the ox cart, which I tell you what is not the worst. Age up about to come through. You can see about 15 seconds left. Oh, no. Oh, hold on. Why does it say 90 seconds? I guess they've changed it. Did it used to be a minute? Or am I crazy? Maybe I'm crazy. Meanwhile, towards that top side, a little bit of a raid coming through from the Berserks. 3 Berserks up here. Looks like they will get caught. Numbers continue to look really, really good here on the south. No age up still coming through for B. 6k score down. But where there's a will, there's a way. And I tell you what, where there is a bee, there is a buzz, and there is a hive of activity wherever that guy goes. Age ups through. And ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the destruction! Oh my lord! Town center on 77 hit points. Get the vills. Get repairing. What did he even do? Stable took a bit of damage, couple houses. I feel like that was actually quite underwhelming. All the vills now going to repair. He finds it, the mother load. Look at this. I say the mother load. This is more like the mountain load. Look at all of these guys trying to get on in. Meanwhile, back towards base. He's also got ceasefire that he can fall back on, but he doesn't need it at the moment. He thinks he can do it with the Hippias alone and is able to do it. The Huskarl's going to continue coming through. Keep in mind, these guys have got great ranged armor. Or rather, pierce armor, apologies. And only a little bit of melee attack. They've got the double damage, though, against ranged units. So, against the Hippias, they don't do particularly well. Meanwhile, look at this. Look at the dwarves. Look at the dwarves. He's eating them alive. The Hippias having a field day. Villager count's actually been overtaken. Bees found a way back into the game. Town center now under pressure. Wiz is in trouble. Despite being in the mythical age, he is in trouble. Asgardian hill forts at the front. I feel like the only way he can win this is just by getting a little bit of siege out here and maybe looking to put on the pressure. The only thing is, keep in mind, baby, we've got a relic here, the blanket of Empress Zoe, making our buildings a little bit more resistant to siege weapons. Thank you, Empress Zoe, for your blanket. Meanwhile, second rock giant coming out. Mountain giant, rock giant, gets bolted in the face. See you later. Ah! There she is, ladies and gentlemen. Gullum Bursty just in time. Unfortunately not, but look at him absolutely massacre everything. That's a mythical age Gullum Bursty, and he has got leaning house. See you later, horsey. Oh, wow. I think, you know, I'm going to be honest, I think Wiz forgot about the Gullum Bursty, dude. That was a burst of Gullum if I have ever seen it. Wow. Meanwhile, towards the base of B, we've got ourselves a dragon problem. It might be a wingless dragon, but it is a dragon nonetheless. We've got the Fafnir. It's going to take me a while to learn all these. We've got a couple of rams making their way through. I don't know if I agree with the rams. It's probably just going to get cleaned up by the Hippias very, very quickly. Gullum Bursty looking to try and get out another 30 seconds on this bad boy. I'd avoid at all costs getting into contact with the Gullum Bursty. You know, you treat it like one of your exes, okay? No contact with this guy. He is an absolute beast. And I tell you what, this is quite the mythical age combo that we've got here. The Gullum Bursty and the Fafnir. Fafnir's just heading back to the farms, doing his thing. Good old Fafnir. Meanwhile, on the front. Now, I wonder if you can bolt Gullum Bursty. I don't think you would be able to. Like, there's some things. Rest in peace, little guy. We'll see you again later. We'll see you in 300 favor, my friend. It's going to take some time. But, it really feels... Hey, still classical age. Still classical age. All you guys out there saying, oh, he needed to age up. Oh, he needed to build a second town center. Yeah, I'm looking at you drongos. He didn't need to do any of that. All he needed to do was go kill the enemy vills. And he's kept himself in it. Somehow, the unit number is still looking incredible. So what does Wiz have to do here? So Wiz needs to go and start making some longhouses. And yeah, some longhouses right here. Bolt again. I don't know where it was. Probably on the Fafnir, maybe. No. Yeah, it was. It was on the Fafnir. You can see it's turned to gold. Meanwhile, Townsend is under pressure. It might be going down here. He's got a lot of units, Huskarls together. Meanwhile, back in the base, Townsend is looking to fire down on these Hippias. TC does go down, but of course, B gonna stay in it. 3k between them at the moment. Battering rams here as well. Looking to try and work down the rest of the buildings. Centaurs finally arriving to save the day. Plenty of vills on the temple. Geez, just a few over here, fellas. How you guys doing? Only 16 back there. He's got 84. He's still got the ceasefire. Hasn't used the ceasefire yet, because if he does use it, he's gonna lose out this aspect as well. Keep in mind, this is a huge problem for him. He's just lost about 20 Hippias down on the west side of the map. Meanwhile, Vill's going to start reconstruction on the TC. Numbers are still looking good for him. 39 against 28. Vill count, he's up 20 villagers at this stage of the game. Champion Huskarl's now going to be coming out. Wiz doing the Huskarl-only challenge, trying his best, his darnest to win with only Huskarls, and I guess we can say a couple of Soril Edglissons, some hearses. Townsend is back online. 1400 gold in the bank. How do we deal with these Asgardian hill forts if we're only in the classical age? And the answer is, we don't. We just leave them. We let them burn. We let them do their thing. I guess technically they're not burning. They're made of ice. We let them... I'm trying to think of a perm. I'm trying to think of a word that rhymes with burn to do with ice. And I'll be honest, I just don't think I can think of one. I mean, urn, maybe, but then, like urn, not really. Like, what are you putting in your urn? You're putting ice in your urn? Well, you've got an addiction problem, my friend. That's not a good idea. So sorry, we get a little bit of sidetracked sometimes. Speaking of trade, is there a potential trade opening right now? We've got this bad boy right here, Osberg Wagon, 25% food cost reduction and 10% faster. It could happen. It could happen. Still making only cavalry. Classical age against mythical age. Fafnirs have gone down. Look how quick that cavalry is. Look how damn quick that cavalry is. Cleaning up these little raids. I think I'm gonna have to take a drink here. Give me a second, ladies and gentlemen. I've got the drink of the evening. I'll let you guess what it is while I take a sip. That's the good stuff, ladies and gentlemen. We're not on that biss. We're not on that water. We're back to it. Oh, I think I told you, didn't I? I said Red Bull. Damn it! That's cheating. You guys can't know that it's... Look at the amount of arrows that are coming down here. Jeez, you wouldn't want to be a unit standing under there, that's for sure. You guys already knew it's Red Bull. Damn it! I forgot I told you earlier. It's all right. Don't worry. Don't worry. I'll give it to you. You guys all get the points. You get the points. Second hill fort. Well, I say second hill fort. It's like the fourth hill fort that's coming up here. Let's switch to Wiz. Yeah, so we've got the hill fort, then you've got the Asgardian hill fort. So I don't actually know what the difference is, other than one of them is blue and the other one is also technically blue as well, but a lot less blue. A little bit of a migration coming out. Good old dwarf migration. Great to see them out from the mountains, but oh no. Oh no. Oh no, B! He spots it. He sees all the dwarves migrating. He says, we're going to intercept. He runs an interception route. 54 versus 71. The villager count starting to fall. How many does he lose? That's the question for us all. The answer's none. A little bit underwhelming there. Has that gold been exhausted? I don't... Yeah, okay, it has. The UI or the game's still a little bit weird with things like that. He hasn't discovered that gold. He only discovers it now. And with that breathes a sigh of relief. I mean, technically he's got plenty of gold out here, but he's going to have to deal with these constantly chasing cavalry units, or constantly pressuring cavalry units. Centaurs now looking to dish out some damage on this backline. Vill count still up 20 at the moment for B. Still down 2 ages, but he doesn't. He's like a honey badger right now. He really does not care. Meanwhile, towards the top side, Champion Huskarls coming online up against the medium Hippias. Double portable ram. Actually, no, it's only the single portable ram. I take it back. The Centaurs on the back. Still looking to run a few circles here. A little bit of villager on dwarf action, hey? I know what you guys are searching for. I've seen it. Don't pretend you aren't looking for it. I've seen it. I know. What are we talking about? I don't know. I've got no idea what you guys are talking about. Stop talking about that, please. This is a family channel. It's not really. This is not a family channel at all. This is just purely for us adults. Adults only. Wait, no, that's a different category. We welcome everybody here. We welcome everybody. All right, so realistically from here, where does Wiz go? I think adding in a third TC and just keeping the auto queue on is a smart idea. I don't know if he's going to be able to afford it because he's only just going for that second TC again. Keep in mind, he did lose it. One of the things that I'm going to protest with is that the Asgardian hill forts should have been near the town centers. You got to remember that there's like a minimum range on the Asgardian hill fort that they can't attack on. You can get an upgrade for it called Boiling Oil, but you don't always get it. You know, it's one of those upgrades that it's like, yeah, maybe I'll get it. Maybe I won't. And then you just forget about it and you're like, damn, why is my Asgardian hill fort dying? And it's like, oh, because I didn't get Boiling Oil. Anyway, the town center can cover it if you put it close enough, and then the town center, like, they can kind of cover each other. That's the idea. So I really like that, and I appreciate these forward forts like this. But you know, what does two forts do that one fort couldn't have done? You know, one fort back here could have protected this settlement, could have protected this town center in times of struggle. But you know, at the end of the day, Mother Mary obviously said to him that it's not about putting the forts with the town centers. Have a look at this. Have a look at this. Huge amount of Herseers and Huskarls coming through battering rams. And now finally we see the Goaties coming out. Big damage on the backside. Have a look at that. Goaties trying their best to squeeze in a couple of range attacks. Herseers doing a good job as well. Coming around the back, around the outside, as Slim would say. And there's the ceasefire. There's the ceasefire. He knew he needed to get that ceasefire in just to make sure he can reunite his troops together. And you can see all of a sudden, Wiz is looking at that thinking, oh, that is a lot of units. I don't know what I'm going to do against that enormous mass of Centaurs. I don't think I've ever seen anything like this. There are so many Centaurs out here. And I love this. As I said, I feel like I'm watching the Lakota, the Sioux from Age of Empires 3. It's something of beauty. And the fact that Zeus is doing this as well, like this isn't Poseidon exclusive. I was a little bit worried there. The birds in the sky all just kind of froze up. I'm like, excuse me? 200. Favor in the back pocket at the moment for Wiz. He could be looking to go for a second Tempest. He could be looking to save for a Gullimbursty, or he could be looking to burst the opponent down with an Inferno. We'll have to wait and see what the plan is for him. He's got that trickle slowly coming through from these Herseers. You can see 0.01 per second. Gonna accelerate that up a little bit when they're in the battles. And now 200 population versus 170. B looking to try and pick off more than he could chew. Oh, age up coming through. Just when you thought he was going to try and stick it out in the second age. Nope, man goes into the third age. But he's got to be careful though. This is the town center doing it. He's got Dionysus coming through. This could be massive for him as well. It will give him a huge potential here. Town center now aging up. Plenty of units making their way down. Upgrades on the way through, looking to get Thracian horses. Thracian horses. There we go, Thracian horses. Don't worry, I didn't stumble over that at all. And now, Wiz on the offensive. Huskarls together with the Herseers. We see the Tempest comes down on top of all of the Centaurs. Bronze armor as well, looking to try and protect them. The freeze is going to come out though. Herseers working their magic, trying to find a way through. Managed to get onto the back line. Continuing to dish out that DPS. Look at the amount of arrows that are thrown down onto the ground here. Herseers still able to chase away the Centaur. Centaur's got that 24 seconds of bronze armor still coming through. Tempest finally finishes, and he has managed to weather the storm, but unfortunately the numbers continue to look strong here for Wiz. B falls back away from this, but the numbers have fallen, and it looks like it finally may be over. After a 28-minute battle, 3DB taps out and Wiz is your victor. What an incredible game. The fact that B was able to hold on despite only being in the classical age up against a mythic age opponent, and at the end, I can't help but feel like the only difference between these two was a single Tempest. It was that single Tempest at the end that causes, I think it's attack speed, movement slow, pretty much everything. Target a location to unleash a vicious hailstorm, damaging enemies and heavily slowing their attacks and movement. So he had to stand in that and fight in that. If he just moved away, I mean, maybe. But he would still have bronze armor after that. I think the biggest thing that B would have learned from that battle is that you don't fight in Tempest. It's just not a viable option. Incredible game coming out there from Wiz. Huge shout out to AoM.gg. That's a website created by Fitzbro. That's where I found this replay. Let's take a look at the timeline, get a little bit of an idea as to what that vill count looked like. So many villagers going down in that game. So to a high of 76, down to 52, then back up to 54 and then down to 41 and then up to 55 and down to 47. It just did not stop. So much damn aggression. We take a look at all the resources collected. In the end, they were actually pretty close. There was a nice little bubble building up here in the middle, but obviously in the end, Wiz was able to keep ahead of B. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we will leave it there, and of course, we will catch you guys in the next one. I hope you enjoyed this Age of Mythology Retold content, and we'll catch you in the next one.